It is my honor today to introduce our student speaker, Jessica Evans. Jessica graduates today with a Bachelor of Science degree in Early Childhood Education offered by the School of Educational Leadership. Jessica currently resides with her husband and children in Long Island, New York. During her time at Indiana Wesleyan, Jessica exhibited a love of learning and a commitment to her chosen profession as her developing qualities of servant leadership shined bright. Please join me in welcoming our student speaker, Jessica Evans.
As I look out into this crowd of graduates, although we are all strangers, we share a special bond because we have all chosen to take the challenging path of pursuing our purpose. We are all created with a specific purpose to seek and glorify God. 4 years ago, I felt a strong conviction to go back to school and finish my teaching degree. The path would be challenging because I had many obstacles that would make going back to school very difficult. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. My husband is a minister, so I'm involved in full-time ministry with him, and I work full-time as well. I needed a quality, respected university that provided flexible options, and it was also important to me to go to a faith-centered university because of my personal belief in Jesus Christ. I found all of these things at Indiana Wesleyan. God has shown his goodness and faithfulness to me during my time at Indiana Wesleyan, and he has taught me the invaluable lesson that his plans for my life are not always parallel to my plans. I would like to share a personal testimony which I believe points to the goodness and faithfulness of God. My husband is a minister, and almost a year ago, he was presented with an opportunity to pastor a church in Long Island, New York. The thought of leaving Indiana felt terrifying for all of us. The move seemed impossible, but God continued to open all of the doors. One of the final factors for moving to Long Island would be if I would be able to finish my degree at Indiana Wesleyan because I was so close to graduating. I began to pray that if God wanted us to move, he would provide a way for me to complete my degree. After talking with my advisor and the directors at the student teaching program here, I was told that I could complete my degree on the condition that I would have to find a school in Long Island where I could do my student teaching. I was also warned this could be difficult. Last June, my family went to visit Long Island so my husband could candidate at the church, and I had plans to visit as many schools as I could to pursue the possibility of doing my student teaching at one of them. But after arriving at Long Island, I realized there would be no time for me to visit schools because our days were full of appointments. I knew my plan to find a school in Long Island was not going to happen. One evening on our visit to Long Island, we were having dinner at a couple's house, and my youngest 2 children went outside to play in their yard. When I checked on them, I saw that 2 more children were playing in the yard, and their mother was standing at the fence watching them. When I went to introduce myself to the mother, she said, "Your children have already told me your life story," which I wasn't surprised. She said, "I heard your husband is a minister and you are a teacher and your family is thinking of moving to Long Island." I explained that I was not a teacher yet, but I was almost finished with my degree. I then shared with her my concerns about finding a school in Long Island where I could complete my student teaching. She smiled and said, "I'm a principal at an elementary school near here." So, this perfect stranger, then told me she was going to do everything she could to help me complete my student teaching in her school district. To say I was shocked would be an understatement. No person could have orchestrated these events. This was clearly God. God was teaching me to trust in him. The principal did exactly as she said, and within a week from our divine encounter, my student teaching placement was finalized. My family has now lived in Long Island for almost a year, and God has continued to show us his faithfulness. I recently completed my student teaching, which has led me to standing here today with you. Many times, we are faced with situations and challenges that are out of our hands. They are too large for us to solve and too complicated for us to plan. But I learned that God does not expect us to plan our lives. He wants us to be obedient and follow the perfect plan he has already made for us. Graduates, our paths at Indiana Wesleyan has come to an end, and today we celebrate because of the countless opportunities for our future. What we have accomplished today will not only make a difference in our lives, but in the lives of our families and those we may help in our careers. God has a specific purpose for each of us, and he has a specific plan to make that happen. I have learned that with God, all things are possible. Trust in him and trust in his plan for your life and see what he can do. Thank you.